Ever since Kevin De Bruyne announced that he's going to be leaving Man City at the end of the season, this leaves City with an absolutely massive hole to fill. De Bruyne was Man City's key player all throughout Pep's time at the club, and arguably their greatest player of all time. He made 415 appearances for the club, scored 107 goals, and provided 177 assists. But it looks like they're on the hunt for the clear heir to De Bruyne's throne, and that's Bayer Leverkusen's 21-year-old superstar Florian Wirtz. Yep, there have been a few articles coming out recently stating that Man City have moved into talks with Florian Wirtz over a record-breaking transfer fee and huge salary for him to join the club as Kevin De Bruyne's replacement. Wirtz and his father have spoken out about the link to Man City, and Wirtz himself has said what club he would prefer to move to. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see what that club is. In this video, I'll be breaking down Florian Wirtz's potential move to Man City, the transfer fee, how he'd fit in tactically at City, and the other clubs that he's linked to. First of all, for those of you that aren't super familiar with Wirtz, let's break down just how good he is. In his Leverkusen career, by the age of 21, he's already had 192 appearances, 56 goals, and 63 assists. This season alone, he has 9 goals in the Bundesliga as well as 10 assists, which is the most in the competition. As a bonus, he also has the most duels won in the league with 342. Which is absolutely key for a club like Man City that looks to quickly win back the ball and recycle their possession. So yeah, Wirtz is incredibly good, but pretty much everyone who hasn't been living under a rock knows that by now. He was absolutely crucial to Leverkusen's incredible unbeaten season last year, and he's got to be the best player right now who's still at a smaller club, relatively speaking. Of course, Leverkusen are great, but a player of Wirtz's caliber is the type that you're used to seeing at someone like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or in more recent history, like the topic of this video, someone like Man City. Wirtz is in high demand, and he's generated a price tag that if City snapped him up, would break the Premier League transfer record. Leverkusen are asking for a casual 150 million euros, which is a lot, but to be fair, it's only 30 million more than Jack Grealish cost, so when you put it like that, it sounds like a bargain. So how similar actually are Wirtz and De Bruyne, and how would Florian fit into Pep's system? Well, on paper, Wirtz is definitely more of a forward and less of a midfielder than De Bruyne, but let's look at their heat maps. We'll look at Wirtz this season versus De Bruyne in and around his prime in 2017-18. Obviously, De Bruyne by and large is more evenly spread out, and Wirtz is way more concentrated on that left-hand side, but apart from that, they take up mostly the same areas on the pitch. The main difference between the two is that De Bruyne is much more of a crosser, while Wirtz is much more of a dribbler. The earliest crossing stats tracking for De Bruyne I could find was from the 2020-2021 season, when he attempted 146 crosses and made 39 of them, both of which were in the top 3%. Wirtz this season, however, attempted 68 crosses and made 10, just a quarter of De Bruyne's example, and only in the top 32%. When it comes to dribbling, it's the total opposite. Wirtz this season attempted 136 dribbles and completed 74 of them, both of those being in the top 1% of players. Amazing. De Bruyne, when it comes to dribbling, is still great, but not on Wirtz's level, with 67 dribbles that season and 48 of them successful, so roughly half of Wirtz's dribbles, but still in the top 4% when it comes to successful dribbles. In short, if Wirtz does come in to replace De Bruyne in Pep's system, we can expect him to be more incisive and perhaps a bit more selfish. He'll dribble more at defenders, maybe look to get off some more shots, but he's going to swing in less crosses. Of course, there's every possibility that Pep's going to trade him differently, ask him to cross a lot more, and his crossing numbers will go up naturally as a result of that. But in terms of tactical similarities, Wirtz will be very similar to De Bruyne in that he's going to link the defense to the attack with all his key passes, and he's also going to pop up on the edge of the box with goals just like Kevin De Bruyne did. He does seem like the perfect signing for Man City to bounce back after a terrible year off from winning the title. Poor Man City, I don't know how they're surviving right now. Anyway, one key detail I haven't really mentioned here is, we know Man City wants Wirtz. Does Wirtz want Man City? Well, apparently Florian's dad, who also acts as his agent, would much prefer for him to sign for Bayern Munich. But Leverkusen, understandably, would rather not sell their best player to their main title rivals. Wirtz's goal, as with most top players, is to win the Ballon d'Or, and according to this article from Get Football News Germany, he's ranked the 3 teams where he has the best chance of winning the Ballon d'Or, with Real Madrid at number 1, Man City at number 2, and Bayern Munich at number 3. So Wirtz basically here is saying that he'd prefer to go to Real Madrid. With rumors of Ancelotti leaving this summer, Xabi Alonso is the main candidate for Real Madrid's new manager, and it would be so fitting for him to bring along his star player with him all the way to Real Madrid. But what Wirtz would have to worry about there is more competition. At City, since De Bruyne is leaving, he'd be far and away the best attacking midfielder in the club and would slot in the starting lineup, no question. But at Real, he'd have to compete for a similar spot with Jude Bellingham. So I think for those reasons, City will be his destination. It just makes sense when you consider him as being the heir to De Bruyne's throne. De Bruyne was also a promising Bundesliga player, playing for the second best team after Bayern at this time, before City snapped him up. And like I said before, Wirtz would just pretty much be able to completely slot into City's side and be their new star man. It just makes complete sense. But what do you think? Will Wirtz go to City? Is this a good idea for him? Will he be able to replace De Bruyne effectively? Let me know of all this in the comments below and subscribe to Footballers for more videos like this one.